be aware, we're going to talk a little bit about season 1 and recap because I need a refresher course. So all of these things, I'm talking about an amazing young man who sets the tone, sets the bar, and has inspired absolutely all of us. Coby Bird is joining us right now. Coby, hey,
Hey, good to see you.
I'm so excited to see you.
It's been too long.
It has been way too long. So thank you for taking the time to be here with us at Autism Live. I know you're so in demand and you have other places that want to see you. But we're so excited for season 2 of Lock and Key, Coby, and that's just a few days
Oh, me
away.
too, Shannon. It feels so surreal, honestly. I
Well,
can't believe. Yeah, it just that thought that that the next season's coming out is just it's pretty eye opening to me.
and if people haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. So we got to tell people go this weekend and
Yes,
watch season
definitely.
1 to get caught up. But if they haven't seen it at all, talk to them a little bit about what's Lock and Key all about.
So Lock and Key is it's a fantasy horror kind of style show, and it's about a family known as the Locks, and their father is murdered. So they moved from Seattle to um their father's ancestry home in Massachusetts, and it's a giant house called Key House, and they're still grieving and they're still grieving, but as time goes on, the three siblings start hearing all these whispers and all of these weird noises in the house. And they realize that the whispers are leading them to these keys that have these powerful abilities. One can open up your head. One can turn you into a ghost. One can emit fire, and just all sorts of crazy stuff like that. But there's a demon in the well house that escapes and is trying to get the keys. So they have to protect the keys while having to defend them from the demon. So it's a
It's intense.
very intense show.
It's intense and it's got something for everyone because it's a family show. There are
It is.
parts of it that are scary, and I
There
mean
are, yes.
scary, but I think that for a lot of kids can handle it because it's there are
It's like
certain parts.
yeah, it's like a mishmash of Spider Chronicles, The Goonies, Harry Potter. Just so
Yeah,
so if you go into it knowing that it's that kind of show, then it's gonna be a good time.
yes, and I
Yeah,
and I think it's got something for everybody, and it's funny.
it
It's
is
very funny and
very
ironic
funny.
sometimes. There were elements of it that we said it's like Harry Potter, but sometimes there's a little bit of Scooby Doo mixed into it too. But like
Yeah,
the best of Scooby Doo.
it's that yeah it's the dynamics between the characters too.
Oh,
It's
it's so
it
well written.
and it's how they react.
Yes. And
Yeah,
and so what was the
it's lovely.
genesis of this? What was Lock and Key before it became a Netflix?
So Lock and Key was actually a graphic novel that was created by Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez. I think it's Gabriel. I'm not sure, but I, I keep I keep I keep I keep forgetting what it. I keep forgetting how to pronounce his name. So that's all me.
That's we
No,
forgive
no,
you for that. But
it's all good. Yeah,
one of the authors has a pretty impressive parent in the scare
yeah.
business too.
So Joe Hill actually is the son of Stephen King. So that alone is just mind
You
blowing.
can't
It's
get better
crazy.
lineage than that in the scare business.
Oh yeah.
So we love that. So there's the key, the key house and the Lock family, but you play somebody named Rufus. Tell us who Rufus is.
So Rufus is the caretaker of Kiev, but his mother actually is his father's childhood friend. They were friends when they were teenagers, and so she knows the keys, and she knows about all the keys and everything because because the father and his friends were actually known as the keeper of the keys. So in high school they were using the keys and protecting them as well. So so she knows about everything, but she can't but she almost doesn't know what's going on right now. But she knows the context of the keys and everything. And Rufus knows enough, but he he kind of knows what he knows. His mom never really, growing up, he never really got a clear idea of what actually happened back when she was a teenager. So it's almost like a mystery. It's almost like a mystery for him too.
Well, I got to start with the fact that you're employed as Rufus. Rufus has a job. I have to say that because when this came out,
Yeah.
when season one came out, our dear, beloved friend Joanne Lara, who's no longer with us, but she loved you up and
Oh,
down and sideways, right? And the first thing that she said, of course, was she said, "My favorite part, his character is employed. What a great example." So
I
we
love it
absolutely
too. Yeah.
love that he's got a job. But tell us a little bit about Rufus and how Rufus is different from you, and maybe is there any way that Rufus is like you?
So there's a lot of ways Rufus is different. I think the one thing about it is that his character, he isn't specified to have autism, or it's just known that he has a mental disability. It's just known that he has a mental disability, but they never really talk about that in the show. He's just Rufus. So that's what I love about the character, is that his disability is what defines him. It's just who he is as a person. He's just Rufus. But he he growing up he had a lot of he didn't he never really was able to make friends growing up. So getting to be able to get to know the Locks and being able to connect connect with their youngest son, and 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 just being able to open up like that's really big. But he but yeah one of the things that I do relate to him, that I do relate, is that he definitely had we definitely have a thing where like we like keeping our favorite things with our with along with us. Like he has this GI Joe figure that he always has with him. And I'm the same way, but with books. So like so if I were to wear a jacket, or if I were to if I were to have my my backpack with me, I would have like 7 books in there. So so it's it's just small things like that. But when I'm playing Rufus, I don't I don't think about myself. I think about Rufus, and he definitely is not we aren't alike, but having those similarities, that definitely is really cool.
I love that, Kobe. I gotta say, for those of you who are just joining us on YouTube, we had some problems connecting on YouTube, but we're on YouTube as well. And so we're saying hi to B Wells and to Jonathan Joseph, who are both reaching out and saying hi to Kobe. For those of you
Oh,
just joining us, we're of course talking with Coby Bird from Lock and Key. Season 2 is out in just a couple of days. We're encouraging you to watch season 1 if you I'm going to rewatch it this weekend because there's a lot to catch up on because it's been a minute. And I want to make sure that I'm ready for season 2. There will be no season 2 spoilers here, but I cannot promise that about season 1. So if you haven't seen season 1, you should be watching it this
be
weekend,
warned.
but you might need to la for a couple of points. So we're talking about Kobe playing the role of Rufus. I imagine I've seen you perform, Kobe. You're so talented, and I see you have so much joy when you're performing. I'm assuming that playing Rufus is fun. I guess I want to know what's the most fun thing about getting to be Rufus.
So when I'm playing Rufus, I'm not, like I was saying before. When I'm on set, I'm not myself. All of my sensory issues and my autism, depending on the character, is gone because I'm focusing on playing as that character. And that's the same way. And that's the same way with Rufus. I feel like I'm Rufus, and being able to put my mindset in that world as that character is really cool. It's like it's like imagination, but taken to a very high level. So
I
that's
love that.
so it's amazing. But also just being, but also one of my favorite parts of acting is doing the intimate scenes between another character, like a one-on-one conversation, because then I can play my emotions off of the other actor, and then we can and then those emotions from those characters create makes the scene. And being able to do that with everybody on set is just fantastic, and just being able to play off of everyone, it's really amazing.
I love that,
Yeah.
Coby. So now, having said what you love about it, yeah, what's the most challenging part of playing Rufus? We don't want to mislead people. This is work, and you
Oh
go
no,
there
yes.
and you are working, and it is work. So what's the hardest part? What's the most challenging?
Well, I think the hardest part would be not being able to play a sim.
Not being
um,
able to what?
Not being able to play a sim.
Okay.
But no, it's I sometimes. So I never have I never have a problem with playing as Rufus, but there are times where me and my mom will go over the scenes, and then and then she'll give me notes on on how to do this. Like but I know the character, and and she tells me how would Rufus say this, how would he react to this, and it's like trying to it's trying to figure that out. And it's never going to be easy, but you know what, that difficulty that difficulty makes it all the more engaging, and it makes it more fun, just for me to get my headspace in that character.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about your process then, because I'm always interested in all actors' processes, and they're all different, right? There's no right or wrong. But so let's walk it through. So you get the script. What's the first thing you do when you get the script?
So yeah, so the first thing I do is I memorize it. And I started this on the I started this with the very first audition I did, and it was monologue after monologue after monologue after monologue. So many words, so many lines, very wordy scenes. And I thought, how am I going to do this?
Yeah.
So I didn't want my mom to help me. I didn't want my mom to help me. I wanted to be independent. So what I did was I went through every single um, paragraph, and I read this, and I kept reading one sentence over and over and over. And as soon as I got that sentence memorized, I would go on to the next sentence. So it's and then I would say the first sentence, and then that sentence, and then so on and so forth. It was almost like playing a mind game, trying to see if my brain can remember everything. So that's what that's what that's what I do pretty much with all of my scripts. But but then also after I do the memorizing, then comes the saying it as the character. And 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 like I was saying, me and my mom will go over the scene when it's time to do that, when it's time to shoot it, and we'll go over it and we'll say the line. She'll give me some notes, but mostly it's up to but mostly won't know if it'll be up to the director. But like we'll go over on saying, and I'll say one line, and my mom will go, hold on, that's not Rufus, you have to say that again. And sometimes we'll have those moments where we just go over the lines and just try to, and where I try to get my headspace in that environment. And that's what really that's one of that's pretty much the basis of what I do with my scripts.
So I love that. But now you're memorized and you've worked on the scene a little bit, and now you go to set. Is it hard for you when you've learned the lines a certain way and you get to set and they change the line and say, oh, we're going to add a line here, we're going to take this out, or we're going to switch this? Is it hard for you to be that
Oh, not at
flexible and
all.
change it?
Not at all. It I've because I think because I know the character so well, because even if they do change it, and even if they do change it, I can I can focus on the emotions more rather than the lines. But mostly I realize that it's not up to me. It's up to the showrunner or the writer or the director on how they want me to on how they want me to say it, or how they want the scene to go, because that's up to them. And I and that and I think that because a lot of people with autism have a problem with change,
Mhm.
and that is one of the main things. And pushing myself into realizing that that's going to happen a lot. I've really gotten used to it, which has helped a lot for me, which has helped a lot for me. And and just and being able to get used to that change really helps, because change is hard. It really is. And one thing we focus on, that has been our system for God knows how long, suddenly is gone, vanished, and something else is replacing it. How do you do that? How do you get used to that after something that you just after a system that you've gone over and over and over again, to where it's like a second, to where like it's what's the word,
Like second
to where,
nature?
yeah, yeah, exactly. And just that alone is what and just that alone is just what is tough for
Yeah.
people on the spectrum. So for me, trying to push myself towards that really helps. And just being able to get used to that, trying to understand that's going to happen a lot. That's what it's like. That's what it's like. It really helps. So I don't really have a problem with it at all.
That's amazing, Kobe. Well, along those lines, I'm sure that things have changed substantially being on sets now in COVID times. That, what it was like before is vastly different than what it's like
Hmm.
now. How has it changed for you? And is there anything that's hard for you to deal with now because of COVID rules?
Like I said, it becomes second nature. But yeah, a lot of things have changed. But but the, but, but the one thing I can say is I'm so proud of everybody following, committing committing to the protocol, and running the PPE, and being able to and being able to follow those rules, because it's important. We're trying to keep everybody safe. So they have all my respect for being able to participate in that. And and it's and it's and especially since they have to have a specific we have specific zones on set. There's a green zone, red zone, yellow. There's green zone, yellow zone, red zone. And on the red zone, most of the crew has to wear gowns, booties, sometimes depending on where we're on location, face shields, masks, and they have to do that wherever they go, in the hot, in the cold, everywhere. And being able to being able to commit so much just to make sure just to make sure just to make sure everybody's safe is really amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and for me it's not as bad, because since I have makeup and hair and everything, I don't actually have a mask on. I have almost like a neck shield. So like it goes around my neck, and it's almost like a cone shaped shield that it doesn't go far all the way. It's just high enough to not hit anything. And that pretty much is all we wear. But I also understand that everybody else has to go through all of that, and that in itself is just amazing. So I really am proud of everybody, and they really do. It really shows that they care about their work.
Well, I hope people listen to you because the amount of consideration that you have and the awareness of what everybody else has to do to make it happen, and how being grateful for how everybody has to work together as a team. I wish that other people would have that same attitude because not everybody does. But it's so glorious to hear you talking about that. But I'm
There's
wondering,
some
because I'm
fun
sure
too.
that there are people, and by the way, we want to say Brenda is saying, love you, Coby.
Oh my god.
Um, so we're giving a shout out to Brenda there. But there are probably people who are watching who are thinking about being an actor themselves, or they have a kiddo maybe on the spectrum and they're like, I don't know if my kiddo could handle it. Obviously, everybody is different, but
Hmm.
as you said, a lot of things change on sets and you have to be able to
Absolutely.
go with the flow. But there's also the timing too, because sometimes, your call time might be 10 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes it might be 10
Exactly.
o'clock at night and you have to work all night long. Is
Hmm.
that hard for you, Coby?
It re- so before, back when I was a minor, there's a certain kind of slang called pumpkining out, and pumpkining. So when you're a minor, you have to work specific times, and and because not only are you focusing, because not only are you working, with you're also juggling school as well. So like so you have to do the scene, and then somebody says, okay, Coby, now you have to go to school. So I go to school for that break, and then as soon as they need me, I stop school, and then come back. So that pretty much was what it was like for me in season one. But then when I graduated, it wasn't as much. Now that I was an adult, I didn't have the pumpkin out anymore, and it's and it's way different, but also it helps because I'm focusing more on the work, and
Yeah.
I can be able to put my head in that space much more easier. But yeah, it really does depend on on how the day is. But there will sometimes be really long days that'll go from 3 o'clock in the afternoon all the way to midnight, sometimes even 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
The latest I've ever shot a scene um, this year was until I think around 2 to 3 in the morning, and it was exhausting. But being able to do that was just so cool. But sometimes there will be days where where they will be long days, but sometimes we'll actually have to change location and go somewhere else. So during that time, during that time, I take a nap. I make sure that I am hydrated, that I've eaten enough, and just making sure that I'm healthy, and that I'm mentally prepared for the night. And it's intense when you're doing that, because you really never know what's going to happen, and on those days it's always predictable. So being able to being able to be ready and stay ready is just it's amazing. But yeah, and my system with how I'm on set is very specific. So a lot of actors like to like to get like to get their hair and makeup on before they get their their costume on. I like to
Mhm.
get, but as soon as I get to my trailer, I put my costume on, and then I wait for hair and makeup, because I want to be able to have it the way they want. I don't want and hair and makeup is like, no, 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 just if it happens, we can fix it. And it's like, no, I want to keep it the way you have it, because if I don't, then it won't be what you intended it to be. So I like I really like respecting their work, because I want to be able to, because I want them to be able to just know that I want that I know that they have the way it is. And I really I don't like altering anything in it
Yeah.
in any way. So so just stuff like that I focus on. but
I
but
love that.
being able but yeah being able to get a routine on with work is really good because then if something changes, you can almost like it's almost like having a set of cards. So let's say one card is wardrobe, food, water, stuff like that. So each card has a specific type a, of thing. So if something happens, I take one of the cards out and I say, I'll go with this one, because then because then that will be the best, because then that won't be the best one suited for that specific conflict or that change. So that really helps. And also, my mom has this giant. She has this. She has this set bag that she brings everywhere with with me, and it's full of it's literally a Mary Poppins bag. It's full of every single little thing you can imagine. I can't I can't think of them right now, but if you were to guess, what was in it, I would most likely say yes, that's in there. But but but
Yes.
but
I,
it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. And
that,
and she has it, and she has all those preparations. So if it's hot, she has a neck fan for me. If I need water, she has water. If I need to cut my nails, she has nail clippers. So it's just it's like literally the ultimate tool bag, just for in case I need something. And that also really helps too. So we have our own routine. We have our own system, and that set bag is full of my full of those cards. So I so 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 if I'm hot, I have the neck fan card. So it just stuff like that just really helps with the day. And in case it gets too much, if it's too humid, because I was shooting a lot during the summer, and it was really humid, it was really hot. So being able to just have that with me was really helpful.
your mom's set bag is legendary. She's
It really, yeah,
legendary
it's,
too. I always say I want to go on Let's Make a Deal with your mom with the set bag, because on Let's Make a Deal they'll
oh my
say I'll
gosh,
give
yes,
$500 if you have a lemon in your purse, and I know that your mom
yes.
would have it in her set bag. So that's pretty remarkable. Hey, we're saying hello to Alex, who says hi, Coby, and to Fateh,
Hi, Alex.
who says very articulate young man. Coby, I send you love from Austria. So
Oh,
that's
thank you
super
so
fun.
much, Fateh.
So we're also reminding everybody that season 2 of Lock and Key is coming up in the next week. And we've got a question from B Wells that we're going to get to in just a second here. We're encouraging everybody to watch season 1 this weekend so that you can get caught up. For the fans that are writing in, Coby, you have so many fans who just love and adore you. Where's the best place for them to follow you?
So everybody can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and my Instagram and my Twitter are at the Coby Bird, and then Facebook is just the Coby Bird. But yeah, you can follow me there. It's yeah.
Okay, there you go. So check that out, and notice the date. October 22nd is the drop date for season 2. You want to get caught up with that. B Wells wants to know, Coby, who's the most fun person on the Lock and Key set, or the funniest?
Everybody is really the crew, the
That's the
cast.
politically correct answer.
But really true though. Everybody just it's like lightning in a bottle. I wasn't. We were a family during season 1, but season 3, that was just everybody is everybody is like family to me on set, because everybody just you don't see a show like this with the cast and crew who are just so close to each other that that you feel like that you are all a whole big giant family, and just everybody is amazing on set. Everybody is so kind and considerate,
Yeah.
and we all just have a good time. Sometimes there are days where we're just quiet. Sometimes there are days where we just need to have a minute because then there will be really intense scenes. But no, but everybody on set is just lovely. It's just lovely, just great.
It's so good to hear that. And obviously,
Yeah,
for you guys shooting season 2, which happened partially during the pandemic,
yeah,
obviously, of course, it makes you a family. Again, we're
definitely.
reminding everybody season 2 is dropping on the 22nd. So we got to get ready for it. And Alex says, yes, I've been rewatching season 1 right now. So Coby, I got to switch gears here a little bit. We'll come back to Lock and Key, but
Oh, of
I
course.
have heard endlessly and lovingly that you picked up a new skill since the last time that you were on the show. And this is very fascinating to me because now you are an avid bike rider. So tell us about that, because there's a lot of people that are
Uh,
watching that maybe have kids and they thought, oh, my kid isn't going to learn how to ride a bike. How did this happen? How did you suddenly decide that you were going to learn to ride a bike, and what was that like?
so growing up, I was never really able to ride a bike. It was because of a lot of things, my autism, but and mainly my autism. But my mom had tried so hard to get me into to learning how to ride a bike. She she and my uncle Scotty would always take me somewhere and go learn it and go and try to teach me, but I just was never able to do it. And I ended up not doing it, but I have a three. But when I was around 8, my grandmother had gotten me like this this 3-wheeled bicycle, which helped a lot. And she had and we actually still have it at her house. But I think it was the year I got it was the year I booked Lock and Key. It was New Year's, and I told my mom my biggest goal this year is to learn how to ride a bike. I want to do it. Like I'm ready for it. Like I want to push myself. I want to be able to do this. And we didn't do it yet, but around April of this year. So in Toronto, there are all these. It's a whole thing called Bike Share Toronto, and 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 it's these bike rental stations all across the city, like everywhere on every block. They're everywhere. It's insane, but but we have one right by our condo, and we were going to go for a walk, and my mom said, "Is there anywhere you want to go?" So I said, "How about we do the bikes?" So it was around 6 at night. We got it was almost like a down. It was a hill that went down to the street, but then it went to like a whole park area, like a plaza area, and we had gotten the bikes, like they were normal cruiser bikes, so they weren't hard to learn. So I got on, and it took me a while. I was covered in sweat. I had my feet were so sore, trying to keep myself balanced because I couldn't balance yet, and just tr- and it was just trying to get my and it was just trying to get my it was just trying to get my balance right, and trying to get it to where I was able to pedal. So it took a while, but I was finally able to pedal straight in 40 during I learned how I was able to learn the basics in 45 minutes, to
That's
where I
amazing.
to where I thought it was going to take me almost a week, or more, or months, but I did it, and it was such a surreal moment. I couldn't believe I was actually able to ride a bike. I was able to balance. I was able to do it, and
And what does that feel like for you, Coby, to be able to now ride a bike?
It's exhilarating. It that day it gave me this confidence I never had before. It made me think, if I can ride a bike, I can do that. If I can ride a bike, if I can act, if I can do all of those things, I can do anything. And it really just. And the next day we went to in Toronto. In Toronto, there's over on the lake. There's a small island called Toronto Island, and we actually took those bikes on the ferry to the island, and it was off season, so nobody was so it was really quiet, like almost nobody was there. So so I was still and even though I was able to ride a bike, I was still having trouble with balancing. So I was able to just take my time, try to pay attention to everybody else, because it's like driving. You're focusing on everything around you, the cars, the people, and even though there were no cars there, there were people, and in case I came across somebody, I had to focus on them, not myself, but also myself. So it's a lot of multitasking. But once you're able to get past that difficulty curve, it's amazing.
I
And
I love hearing that, Coby. I love hearing
after after that day, I didn't want to stop writing. I was like, okay, I know we're done, but I want to bike again, Mom. And she was like, the next day, no, I want to bike again today. I was just, I wanted to bike. I wanted to bike for 90 miles across the. I wanted to bike coast to coast. Like that was my main feeling after that day. I wanted to do. I wanted to bike around the world. It was just such a. It was such a. It was such a. It was such an impactful moment.
I love that. Deli is saying hello. Lucy is saying thank you, Coby. Your words mean a lot to a lot of us parents and our lovely kids. Isn't that the truth? Poker King
Absolutely.
wants. Sorry, go ahead. Say something to them.
What was that?
Oh, I didn't.
Oh,
I
no,
didn't.
no.
I didn't want to interrupt you.
It's all good.
Poker King wants to know if you've ever heard of the show Born This Way, and he says I missed that show, bro. Have you ever seen that show,
Oh,
Coby?
I have, and actually everybody on, and actually all of the, and actually all, and actually everybody on the show, they have they have my same age in Gail Williamson. So I know all of them very well. They're all lovely people.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful. So we're running out of time here, and I have so much more that I
Oh my
want to know.
gosh, already.
But we know that you have a lot of stuff coming up that we are not able to talk about yet. We have to say that, but we hope that when you can talk about the things that are coming up, that you will come back and talk about them. But we'd love to know, like, what's on your agenda. What are you wanting to do, or what are your hopes or dreams, or what can you talk about in this moment?
Honestly, I'm living life. I'm I'm doing. I always get the question, "What's next for you, Coby?"
Yeah.
And I think, you know what? I don't have I don't have my entire life planned, but the day I wrapped, the day I got back, because I was in Toronto for almost 7 months, so for 7 months, pretty much. So as soon as I got back home, I sat on the chair in my room, and I just said, "What now? What
Yeah.
now? What do I do?" And I thought, no. So so my mother told me, just because I was telling her I was gonna have, because I was telling her about that concern, and she told me, don't think about that. Just think to yourself, okay, time for the next adventure.
Right.
And that is my only and that's one of my big focuses right now. But next week, actually, next week I'm going to fly back to Hawaii and be with my family for a month. So that's gonna be amazing.
That's cool.
And then, but right now, I'm just doing whatever. I've been pretty much just keeping myself busy, just doing what I can to get out. There's a lake over by our house that we go to with my mom and my dog Sally, and we kind of just go out and just like walk around and just be in nature because we love that so much.
You're
So
living your
it's
best life.
yeah, it's amazing.
I got to interrupt you now. I was trying really hard not to interrupt you at all, but we're about
Oh
out
no.
of time. Lucy wants you to know that they're watching from Phoenix. She says,
Oh
amazing
my
words,
gosh.
Coby. Thank you, and blessings to you. Absolutely. Alex, of course, wrote in and said, can you tell us anything about season 2? No, he can't.
I
You're going
cannot.
to have to tune in and watch
I can't
season
say
2,
anything.
right? And
I can't say anything.
so you're going to have to watch
And trust
season
me,
2 to see.
I want to. I really want to, but I can't.
No, I would be killed. I would be shot and killed if he said
I
anything.
want
So
to tell you. I
yeah.
want to tell everybody about season 3, but I can't. And
Yeah,
it's
no, you
but you
can't
know
talk
what? But
about
you know what?
season.
Just wait. Yeah, just wait and just wait.
October.
It's almost coming
It's
out.
almost here.
It's almost there.
So,
Yeah, it's all good.
and we were gonna do a recap of season 1, but we didn't even have time, Coby. So now that's great because we didn't have any spoiler alerts for season 1. If you did not watch season
That's the big part.
1,
Yeah.
you need to go and watch it this weekend. It's available on Netflix. You will just love it. Watch it with your kiddos. You'll laugh. You'll have a good, scare, not the bad kind of scare. There are lots of twists and turns, plot twists. You'll have a really good time. Coby, we love you so much. We're so
Love you
proud of
too.
you. We're so
I
proud
love all of you.
to know you and to have you leading and being that trailblazer that you are. We just have so much respect for you and your journey and your talent. And I can't wait to see all the amazing things that you do. So thank you for
Absolutely.
being with us. There again, there's how you can get a hold of Coby and follow him to see his journey. Trust me, this young man has a lot more that you're going to want to stay tuned for. So, Coby, we're sending you a big hug. Give your mom a hug too, because you know I love her too. And we will talk to you soon. All right.
Definitely.
All right.
All right. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thanks for watching Autism Live. If you found anything helpful in this video, please give us a like. In fact, make sure that you smash that subscribe button on YouTube and give us a like on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram for important updates. And please download our free podcast wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me and one for you too. Bye-bye for now. To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.